My first ever really big sewing project, like really big, the window seat. So I'm starting with this piece of foam that I got on Amazon, and I think it's a 3 or 4 inch thick piece of foam. I'll include all these links when I write the blog post, of course. And then I'm adding some batting to the top, and the reason why I'm doing that, you don't have to do that, but I want it's basically going to be a French tuft mattress style cushion. That's what I'm going for, at least. So I wanted it to look thick. Batting helps with that. Because when you add the tufts in the fabric, you'll see, like, with the batting, it'll look more fluffy and have more texture to it than versus just, putting the button into foam. So we're adding batting. We're cutting it to size, which the way we cut this is by marking off a line that we wanted to cut, and then using an electric bread knife, serrated bread knife, essentially. And then then we cut the batting to fit the size of the foam, and I'm just spraying this spray adhesive on it and then attaching the batting to it. And I'm going to do that to all of the sides. So the smaller sides and another one on the big side. So if you're smart, then get enough batting to fit the entire thing. Just measure ahead of time. Seriously? No. But we didn't do that. So we went to Walmart and we found this batting. It's not as thick, but what I'm doing is I'm making a hot dog by folding it like 4 times, which is going to be about the thickness of the existing batting, and then putting it on the side. And the bright side was that this bag of batting was only $1.50 versus like the $10 or $12 that I'd spent on the other one. So it just requires a little bit more work, but it was a lot less expensive. Okay, I'm back at it with the cushion, and I'm still over here improvising. Some things never change, huh, little Brookie? It's looking pretty, ratchet. It'll be okay, though. It's all going to be covered with fabric, and it'll be nice and thick and fluffy. The cushion is covered with batting, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure each side, and then I'm going to add 1.5 inches to account for the foot when I sew it, and then also so that with the tufting, there's a little bit of extra fabric. These drop cloths are the ones that I buy at Lowe's. They are tagged in my DIY drop cloth curtain post on the blog, jordanjean.com. I'm Brookie. And luckily for me, the seam runs right down the middle, and actually is big enough for one side of the cushion. So this one drop cloth will be used for each big side. That's how I'll refer to it, I guess. And the reason why I'm using drop cloth is because, one, it's so inexpensive. I think I bought this for like $10.98 or something at Lowe's. And then 2, I already know that her spot is going to be on the cushion. I know she's going to jump up here and make it her new little spot. So I really wanted to do a linen one, but I think that the drop cloth is definitely going to be more durable. And along with that, I didn't want to spend tons of money on fabric. And then since this is my first time doing anything like this and really sewing like a really big project like this, chances are it's not going to look like a professional did it. I'm going to strive for that, but let's be real. I have the 2 big pieces cut out of the drop cloth, and then the 2 little sides, and then the 2 big sides. And what I'm about to do is make a ring out of these pieces. The next thing that I'm doing is connecting the short pieces with the long pieces for the sides. And I'm just sewing them inside out so that when you flip them, you just see the nice seam. So what I did was I attached this is the short side, and then the 2 long sides, and then the short side. I'm the cushion. And I'm gonna make it a ring around it like this. Like this. Yeah, I think it's gonna work. Yeah. Okay, so I sewed the bottom to the sides, or this could be the top, whatever. Oh my gosh, this thing is so jerry-rigged. And my only concern is that it's a little too big, but I'm gonna have to figure that out tomorrow. I need to go to sleep. Okay, you guys, let's see how late I stay up doing this. I ended up going to Walmart and getting more batting because I could not stand my jerry-rigged situation. So I cut all the batting. It's so nice now. So what I am doing now is recutting all the drop cloth again and making a whole new cover because the first one was just practice. To reiterate, actually this is making me really happy that they're doing this because Audie earlier today was not in this condition whatsoever and it was pretty scary, but we're really thankful that she's apparently back to normal all of a sudden. When you're cutting your fabric, what you're going to do is you're going to take the measurement of your foam and then you're going to add 1.5 inches. So for instance, if your the width of your foam is 21 inches, then you're going to do 22.5. All right, a tip. I learned from doing this the first round that it's so much easier if you just cut the seam off. I mean, if you want to go through and rip it off, no, don't even do that actually because there's holes in it and it shows up on your cushion. If you use the same drop cloth that I get from Lowe's that I shared in my DIY drop cloth curtain tutorial, you'll get one big cushion panel and then one thin cushion panel out of half of it. And then once those two parts are cut, you can use this part up here to make the short side of your cushion. And like I said before, you can use one whole drop cloth to make the entire cushion. Oh, someone... My last big tip before I get back to this, don't just cut corners and think that you can eyeball it. Actually, mark it out with a level because I did that the first time and that's the reason why I'm redoing it. It was good for me to practice, but just use a level. Okay, so I sewed that ring that I showed you guys to the one big side, and then I sewed the other side to it, and I left this hole here so that we can put the big cushion in. That's what I could have left half of a big side open to get the cushion in and sewed this one together. That's an option. We'll see if I regret this or not, but I wanted to do this one. We got the cushion on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew, this side together with a needle and thread using a slip stitch that I'm going to learn from YouTube. I sewed this side by hand. It's probably not the most beautiful job ever, but it's going to be going against the wall anyways, and it'll be pretty hidden. And then I wanted to make this look like a French mattress, so I am sewing by hand this little detail. Also, obviously, I got a little sidetracked right here. Whoops. This will be the back. I'll show you all how I'm doing it tomorrow. I'm just thinking about this, though, and I'm hoping this bottom part works out. We'll hope for the best, but I'm going to do this whole side tomorrow and then show you the stitch so that you can learn from that. I didn't come up with this by any means. I found it on Pinterest, but reading the directions is kind of difficult in my opinion, and I pretty much just had to come up with it on my own. So I'll show you guys that tomorrow, and then I'm just really hoping that this side works out because I have a lot of fabric here, so, oh man. Okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep and try not to think about it. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this out, use it as a practice run like I did on the first one, and then I already know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do it in the morning with my 1 extra hour of sleep. Yay, daylight savings. Good morning. I finished this side. I'm really proud of this, you guys. I mean, you don't understand. The only thing I've ever sewn in my life is point shoes. And this is a pretty big deal for me. So when Steven gets back from Lowe's, I'm going to show you guys how to do this. And I've shown you up to this point, but I'm going to show you this stitch because like I said last night, reading it is hard. I'm going to try to show this without him. If it doesn't work, then I'll wait until he gets home. But the materials that you're going to need to do this part are thread, like a thick thread like this. I don't know what it is called. I got mine at Walmart. And then a doll needle. It's a big guy. I also got this at Walmart. Here is the package of that. I'll show you. What you're going to do is you're going to cut a long piece of the thread and put it through your needle, of course, and then make a knot at the end. Pretty big knot. I already did this bottom section, so I'm going to show you with this top section. What you're going to have to do, it's going to be difficult with one hand, but grab a big, like about 1 inch of the fabric on each side and try to grab some batting and foam with that. And then, so you're going to grab your chunk, and then you're going to run the needle through the bottom about a 1/4 inch from the seam, and then run it through the top. Pull that all the way through until it stops at the knot. So it stops right there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go about a 1/4 inch over from that and then grab some of the batting. So when I say that, I mean like a horizontal stitch. And then you're going to push that through to come out right here underneath while grabbing hopefully some of the foam and batting. So I'm going to grab some and then try to get it to come through next to the knot. Ugh. So you can see here what I mean. You're going to pull this through. Oops. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go about 2 inches over horizontally and do the exact same thing. Now, since I already did the bottom, I started the first stitch along the lines of the bottom one so that I can line them up. So what I'm going to do on this stitch is I'm going to insert the needle right here where this one started. And then from the top, I'll insert that stitch in line with this guy. So I'm going to grab some batting again. I'm going to make sure that it's in line with the top stitch and then in line with the bottom stitch since I've already done that one. Push it through. I use the table to push the needle up because it can be pretty tough. And then pull. And then coming down from the top like we did on the first one, I'm going to make sure that it's in line with the beginning of this stitch at the bottom. And then also in line with the one on the side. Okay, so as you can see, this one is not perfect compared to this one, but I'm not too worried about the first stitch. We'll be on a roll on the rest of them. So you're going to take the top, you're going to squeeze it, get some foam and batting. It's going to be in line with this one and in line with this one. And then you're going to pull really tight, and the next stitch I'm going to do is going to be in line with this and in line with this. Sorry for my middle finger. I don't have any other ones available. And I'll show you that one. So I'm going in right there. It's even with this and even with the bottom, as you can see. Make sure you're grabbing some foam and batting, and then you're gonna pull it through the top. So I'm just gonna roll through this, but I will forewarn you that this hand gets to be actually pretty tired because you're grabbing the batting the whole time, and you get to the end and you're like, why does my hand hurt so bad? And use a glove or some sort of fabric or something, whatever, thick material on the top like this to push the needle through because your hands will take a beating. Mine already have from doing that long side. Now that I'm at the end, what I do is one last stitch going through the top, and then I'm going to go through the same thing and go through here again, and then just make a knot. So I'm going to pull this guy through. Very difficult one-handed. And then I'll make a knot so it'll come out right here. All right, there you have it. And then, well, I guess I could have gone, it'll be fine because I still haven't done this side yet. So I'll cut these guys off. Okay, 2 sides done, 2 to go. Oh, I need to cut this a little bit. Okay, all the sides are done. I'm pretty sure I lost all ability to move my left hand, the hand that I was squeezing it with. Oh my gosh, it hurts. One more thing to do. I could leave it like this. I need to hem the curtains now, of course. But my intent, by the way, again, not perfect. See, whoops. Oh well, it is what it is. I am going to add some tufts, or at least that's my intent. Because this is such a big cushion, I'm probably gonna have to have about 10 columns of 2, so 2 rows, and then 10 columns across. I'm gonna go ahead and measure those and mark those off, and then probably start preparing the thread / yarn for those, and I'll show you guys how I plan on doing that. Steven is marking off the tufts that we're gonna do. We're gonna do 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And to do that, we took this yarn / thread, and we took 4 pieces that we cut of it, and then made 3 or 4 knots on the end. And I learned this from Proverbs 31 girl. I'll tag her here. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the same doll needle and put this on the doll needle and stick it through all the Sharpie marks he did to make a tuft. So what we're doing, apparently she already likes the cushion. You get part of the thread, you get all 4 strands of the yarn, thread, whatever, through the needle. It stinks, that's the worst part, but you can do it. And then you leave a little bit on the side, and then you're gonna put it through where the Sharpie mark is. Stick it straight down, and then we're gonna flip the cushion over. And then you press on the cushion and use pliers to pull the needle out. He's so strong. Good job, bud. So this next part is really important. You're gonna pull as much as you can and sit on the cushion while digging your knees. What are you doing? So what you do once you get it through, you sit on it with your knees and pull this as hard as you can, and then you make 3 to 4 knots. So you can do this with one person, but it's easier with 2.